tonight with a public appeal for missing British backpacker Grace Mullane.
Anybody who has seen Grace, please come forward and tell us.
Did you Grace Mullane?
British backpacker Grace Mullane was described by friends as bubbly. She always was the kind of person to take care of everybody. Grace loved photos, took her camera everywhere she went. While attending Lincoln University, she met a friend online named Jeff. He spoke to her through messages for about 2 weeks. Eventually, he went to Lincoln University to meet her. She showed him some of her portraits, and they went to eat. After that, Grace told him that she was going to travel the world solo. So October 26, 2018, Grace Mullane began her journey around the world. First, she stopped in Peru. She posted, "I made new friends today." Then she headed to New Zealand. Dylan, a friend of Grace, said they met on a kayak trip in New Zealand.
Grace was just like everyone else you kind of meet when you're backpacking. You're all out there for the same adventure. It continued exploring. I didn't feel like I'd seen enough. Grace went back to Auckland.
This was December the 1st. She posted a message on the dating site saying, "I'm in New Zealand. Let's hook up." Later that night, Grace arranged a Tinder date. Her birthday was the next morning, December the 2nd. They arranged to go to a Mexican place for cocktails. Grace said no to the Mexican place, but maybe to the cocktails. So they meet up, you see them embrace, and it appears that the date is going good. She receives a text asking how's the date going. She responded that they're clicking, and she'll catch her up on things tomorrow. December the 2nd, Grace's birthday. She hasn't returned to her hostel yet. Everyone starts sending her birthday wishes that morning, but Grace isn't responding to anyone. Then the messages turn more desperate. "Grace, contact your family. Where are you? We're looking for you." It's been 3 days now since Grace has been missing.
She hasn't been seen or heard from since Saturday evening in Auckland. Do you suspect foul play?
The longer this goes on, the more concern there is.
I knew just how much the international media would grip this up.
Back in Essex UK, their reporters made sure the story of Grace missing got coverage. The Auckland detective looked at Grace's social media page to see if they can find anything. Like, when did she arrive and what were they doing while they were in New Zealand? What stood out to them was the last person to comment was someone named Jesse Shane. So they messaged him through Facebook. He contacted them back and says his real name is Jesse Shane Kempson. The next day, he contacts the Auckland police and comes to the station for an interview. Jesse said they matched on Tinder. They messaged each other. She said that she was traveling around New Zealand and staying at the Party Backpackers, and that her birthday was the next day. So they met at Sky City. Everything was on CCC footage. So they go to Andy's Burger Bar first. So you see them having a nice time. Then they exit the place. Grace gets another message asking how's the day going. Grace said he's the manager of an oil company and lives in a hotel. The detectives asked then, how did the evening end?
There was a hug and a kiss on the cheek and a thanks, nice meeting you.
And you've parted company at around about 8 p.m. by your account.
Yep.
Detectives already knew from watching footage that Grace continued with Jesse. Entered the City Life Hotel, level 3. That's the last time Grace was seen. So the detective tell Jesse, you said that you woke up Sunday morning around 9 or 10 a.m. Jesse said yes. So the detective show him a photo of him in his hotel elevator at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. So Jesse asks, is there anything you trying to ask me? The detective know he's lying, but they can't just detain someone up to 48 hours in Auckland. So they release Jesse Kempson. Thursday night, they get a search warrant to check Kempson's apartment. Forensics sprayed luminol in the apartment, and it lit up. Then they searched Kempson's phone. He searched things like what can burn anything, what's the best way to make a hot fire, and they also see his phone was hitting off some ranges the following Monday after Grace went missing. So December the 8th, 2018, it's no longer considered a missing person investigation. It's an M. So they bring Kempson back for an interview. The detective asked him to tell him about last Saturday. Kempson said they had a final drink at Andy's Burger Bar, headed to the Mexican place, mentioned in the first message for cocktails, from there to the Blue Star Room. The next thing he remembers is being in a room with Grace.
She started talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey, and then she told me to hold her throat, and then finished.
After it was over, the next morning, he thought Grace had left. Then he noticed her on the floor, red coming out of her nose. He panicked. He said he dialed 111, but didn't hit the button to call for help because of the way it looked. Kempson said he went and purchased a suitcase, used it to move Grace, then put the suitcase in the car, brought a shovel, dug a hole. He said that he used the cleaning supplies to clean up the scene. Then they see him disposing of her items in the park. So Kempson takes them to the area of Grace. They find her, so they charge Jesse Kempson with the M of Grace. They learned that his hands was on her neck for 7 to 10 minutes. So the trial of Jesse Kempson begins November the 4th, 2019. The defense said Grace expired because of an consensual act gone wrong. Then the prosecutor says he had her under his grip. She lost consciousness and he carried on. That's reckless M. A key element in the trial was his actions afterwards. He heads down on the elevator at 8 a.m., purchases a suitcase, goes back to the room, returns to the elevator with the suitcase on a luggage cart, then heads to his vehicle. The next morning, he gets in his vehicle and leaves. When he returned, he had cleaning supplies and a cleaning person with him.
These were not the actions of a man in panic, far from it. Your actions reveal a complete disregard for your victim.
Jesse Kempson was found guilty of the M of Grace Mullane and was sentenced to life, eligible for parole after at least 17 years. On August 6, 2020, he filed an appeal against his life sentence. December 18, 2020, his appeal was dismissed. He tried again on June 29, 2021. This appeal was also dismissed by the Supreme Court. That was his last appeal. Jesse Kempson is serving his time at a prison facility in Auckland. The facility is geared more towards rehabilitation rather than punishment. 2 more women also came forward and accused Jesse Kempson of some brutal acts. He lost both of those trials and received an additional 7.5 years in the first trial and another 3.5 in the second trial, all to run concurrent. Thank you for watching. Hit that thanks button, leave me some comments, hit that like button. Stay safe out there. I'm done talking.
And so, on behalf of New Zealand, I want to apologise to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't, and I'm sorry for that.